This is a stream of technical events dedicated to discussing various engineering topics and different topics around software development. And today we would like to welcome Anibal Rojas. So he has more than 25 years of professional experience dedicated to leading multidisciplinary software development teams. Now he's working as a VP of engineering at Platzi, a Latin American educational platform. And yeah, welcome, Anibal. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. And you? How are you, Yuri?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. It's really nice to see you here. So, where are you located now? Are you in Medellin, right?
Yeah, I am in Medellin right now. I have been living in Colombia for almost 5 years. I am a
Okay,
Venezuelan.
okay, that's great. So, what is the weather now at like in Medellin?
It's really nice. Okay, Medellin is known as the city of the eternal spring. Okay, and it's
Mm-hmm.
actually like that. Okay, it's actually like that. Okay, in a week you will have some showers and it's gonna be hot and it's gonna be fresh and it's a extremely nice place to live. That's why I'm here.
Oh, okay, that's really nice. Do you have any hobbies there, like hiking or something like that?
Not really. Okay, I have a medical a medical recipe that says that I should not go hiking. Okay,
Okay,
I mostly have been devoted to work. Okay, I
okay, yeah.
to be honest. Okay, since since we returned from the pandemic. Okay, I haven't honestly dedicated a lot of time or thought to such things as hobbies. Okay, that I used to do. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a good question. Okay, and I'm kind of I have a depth with myself in that sense.
Okay. Yeah, totally understand you. So like 100% work. And I thought about, so before this event, we had a talk with an evil, and could you please share with our audience maybe a couple of books that you would really recommend them to read?
Oh, totally. I can't recommend enough Teen Topologies. Teen Topologies is an extremely beautiful book uh, around this huge problem that we all the people that works developing software that we have is how we create the teams. Okay, what should be the structure of a team, what how teams should communicate. Okay, what different problems, okay, associated to software development should be tackled in what way. And in this team, the authors, they use two main concepts. They basically um, base all their development, okay, or the proposals around the concept of cognitive load, okay, the amount of information that we can have available on our brain at a single moment is limited, and there are some
Yeah.
categories. And they try to with their topologies, okay, they try to minimize, okay, what's supposed to be the cognitive load for the team. And the other
Hmm.
concept is the Conway law. The Conway law basically states that an organization is going to produce software in the way the communication is structured and communicates. The
Yeah.
common joke for this one is that if you have four teams working in a compiler, you are going to end with a four passes compiler.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes
And,
sense.
and you
Okay.
know,
Okay. Yeah.
that's the book. Okay, if I have to recommend a single book, okay, go for that.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that. That's really interesting. Okay. So thanks for that. Please read Team Topologist. That's the recommendation from Anil. And I guess we could now slowly proceed to the main interview. I would start
Sure.
from your story at Platzi. Could you please share how did you join the Platzi? When did you join? And yeah, the details around it.
I was I have worked for I was working in a company. Actually, I was a partner in a company that was an important consulting AWS consulting company. We were at the table, okay, with AWS when they first launched their partnership program. I worked a lot. I worked in a lot of fields, and before that, I worked in a lot of fields. I worked in oil, gas, telecommunications, banking, always doing consulting, always consulting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of tired what was in the work that I was doing, and it was not really interesting to me, okay, because my passion is to help people grow and help teams grow.
Yeah.
That's my passion. I really need to have this connection with the team, with the people on the team. That's what I enjoy. That's what nurtures me. And because of some reasons, okay, I wasn't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for alternatives. And Platzi, okay, Platzi had raised a Series A funding, and they were looking for more senior people to join the team and help them grow the team. And that was exactly what I was looking for. Also, I have been working in a fully remote fashion for many years, and I was kind of socially deprived. So I bounced into the founders. We have a few interviews, okay, and I relocated to Colombia because the team was completely co-located in Colombia, in Bogota. And well, that's how I arrived here, okay. And when I arrived to Platzi, the team was something like 12 persons, and now we are around 100.
Okay, that's amazing. Actually, that's really interesting story. So when did you join Platzi? Which year was that approximately?
2019.
Okay, okay, makes sense. So now let's go to a little bit of more detailed description of what Platzi does. So I mentioned that it's Latin American
Sure.
educational platform, but could you share a little bit more about it?
Sure, grateful. Platzi is a leading company offering quality education for the people in Latin America. The founders, Freddy Vega and Christian Vanderhens, the first one is Colombian, and Christian is from Guatemala. They started very young. Teaching people about how to develop using technology. And they started, actually they were competing against each other, okay. At some point they just decided to start this thing together. And it started with courses, okay, broadcasted in real time over the internet, and eventually it became a platform where you have thousands of courses, okay, in different areas, covering software development, digital design, digital marketing, and a lot of and we have Platzi is something that's very unusual. Platzi has been extremely successful into B2C market. Okay, most companies focus on this, offering this kind of services. They focus on serving the B2B market. Okay, and Platzi has this huge community of people that place a bet. Okay, here. And one of the things that makes Platzi a lot different than other companies is that we have this really vibrant, alive, and welcoming community, okay, that accepts anyone that wants to take a chance, trying to take the control of the learning in their lives, okay, and not maybe they can't, or maybe they don't choose, okay, to join a university or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So I guess it was a really obvious choice for you because I mean, joining the Platzi, you could grow both your software development teams, engineering teams, and you could also dedicate your time to growing like
Totally.
expertise and skills of people.
The mission was extremely important for me. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's a point there was a point in my life where I worked in so many different kind of projects with so many kind of different technologies, But
Yeah.
I was lacking making a difference, and Platzi has
Yeah.
allowed me to do that. Okay, I will. I can't describe you, okay, what it means when we make things like we run a couple of conferences in Bogota and Mexico, and Mexico DF, and
Yeah.
we're talking about 5,000, 7,000 people, okay, students from Platzi that join us, okay, and I can explain you how
Yeah.
powerful this is.
Oh yeah, that's, I mean, fantastic. Like 5 to 7,000 people. That's really a lot for the events. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. So thanks, and I would like now to discuss more technical parts so that more skilled people who are
Sure.
software developers will be interested about it. So let's go from the top. Basically, if you could share how many users are using Platzi on a day-to-day basis.
On a day-to-day basis, okay, we have hundreds of thousands people using Platzi. Okay,
Okay, that's a lot. Hmm.
it comes and goes. Okay, it has some seasonality. We people there's a lot of people that study really early in the morning. There's a lot of people that study late nights. Okay, a lot of people
Yeah.
is working while studying out Platzi, and also the weekends are represent a lot of traffic for us. Okay, and
Oh yeah.
a few days ago, or something like a few weeks ago, we make the mark of 5 million students enrolled in Platzi.
Amazing. Okay. Okay. That's really amazing, and like hundred thousands of people arriving to your platform. How do they arrive? So is it like 90% going to the website, or you have also an app, and part of them go to the website, part of them go into the app, or it's more app focused? Yeah.
It's I think it's evenly split. Okay, what we
Okay.
have seen is that we have both. Okay, the thing is
Yeah.
that um when we talk about our product, for us, our product is two different things. Okay, the platform and the content. We have a
Yeah.
huge team which is responsible for understanding what the market need, what our students need, what the companies need. Okay, and they are responsible for understanding that. Okay, and preparing the courses. We have a huge team which is extremely professional. We're recording our courses, and so we have these two things. Okay, the product is both the platform and the content. When
Yeah.
it comes to the platform, we have the website. Okay, and we also have a native application for iOS and Android.
Yeah.
Soon we will be launching also, because this is something that's extreme, that there is requested a lot. Okay, the application for the smart TVs, and
Okay.
um, and people use Platzi is kind of a little bit biased to the web. Okay, but people use a lot the mobile applications. Why? Because a lot of our students, and this is in B2C and also in B2B, they study when, for example, when they are commuting, and
Yeah.
they can just start a course, okay, and in their phone, and they can start listening to it or watching it while they are commuting. And when they arrive home or they arrive to the office, they can jump into the desktop and start doing the exercises. Okay, so it's kind of a
Okay.
hybrid usage. um, for us, it's extremely important to have a great experience in mobile. We just launched 2 weeks ago, fully rewriting applications for mobile to bring a more engaging experience.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That's really awesome. Let's talk now about maybe a web client. If you could share, maybe, are you aware of the frameworks that are used to build it? Like, what is it? Are we talking about Angular or React or Vue.js or something customly developed?
Right now, okay, that's a good question. Okay, right now we are
Yeah.
moving um, into being agnostic. Okay, we used to
Okay.
be a React only shop.
Okay.
Our team was fundamentally React. Okay,
Yeah.
but we have a first trials, okay, around micro frontends, and they were not that great. Okay, but right now we
Okay.
are at the point that we can now start supporting different technologies for developing for the front end.
Okay.
And there is people already working with the Angular, okay, on at the same time that there's a huge ecosystems that we
Yeah.
have built around React, and that's something that makes me this is really powerful for us, because our own engineers, they it's not unusual that they are also professors at Platzi. And
Yeah.
we want to have this diversity, okay, so people can actually tap into the experience of developing with different technologies from our own team.
Okay, interesting. So basically, you're into your clients, to your students, also inside to your software engineer teams. Is that correct?
We value a lot diversity and inclusion at Platzi, because when the founders started Platzi, they had a very clear a mission. Okay, they wanted to help change Latin America into a continent that is driven by technology, that can grow through technology. Okay, Latin America still is basically exporting. Okay, what the exporting minerals a lot on exporting produce, and and they have this vision, okay, that we can bring all these technologies closer to the people that normally doesn't have access to this kind of education. And we want to change it. We want to change Latin America. And if we want to accomplish that, we have to be inclusive. Everyone should be admitted into Platzi. Everyone should have a safe place here to learn.
Okay, I think it's a great mission, and that's really interesting. Um, all right, so our students are arriving to this web client or native clients for iOS and Android, or soon to the smart TV client, which is really interesting. I'm really thrilled to see it when it's online. And then afterwards, what is the API layer? So do you use like REST APIs? Do you use GraphQLs? Or do you also do it in a diverse manner, like with the web client technologies?
We are basically using REST APIs. We made
Okay.
experiments with GraphQL, okay, but
Yep.
we weren't getting that much, okay, from the complexity that was introduced by adding GraphQL. So we have a few initiatives to explore, okay, if
Yeah.
it was going to bring us the benefits that we were expecting, but we decided that that was not the way to go for us, at least for the moment. It was too complex, okay, to keep to the maintenance of this was too complex, okay, and we weren't gaining a lot from it. So
Yeah.
we are basically using REST APIs at the core of our systems. Okay, we have a Django monolith.
Yeah.
Okay, this is,
Yeah.
I think in the end, Platzi tastes like chicken when it comes to technology. There are some things that we are doing differently than most people,
Yeah.
but at our old core, our legacy core, is basically a Python
Yeah.
monolith built in Django, and we have a lot of code there yet. Okay, sometimes it's
Oh yeah.
painful, but either way it is. Okay, that's the kind of a strategy that allows a startup to grow faster. And
Yeah.
we have been taking skinning this monolith, okay, and we have been separating from the monolith with a lot of effort, and we are being very careful some critical services that are required to be managed in a different way. For example, at the start of this year, we managed to separate the authentication and authorization services from the monolith. That was
Okay.
extremely important for us, because this allows us to simplify our process of deployments, and this will also mean a really great optimization to the way the resources we have available are used. Okay, because we could separate that, and
Okay.
and that's the kind of thing that you can't really start just building microservices because you have to build microservices. You have to be very intentional, otherwise it's going to backfire.
Oh yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. So basically, you started as a from the monolith, and now gradually, as needs come and various requirements come, you start peeling this onion and separating into various microservices, right?
Yeah, and the other thing that we're doing, I think that this is actually interesting. We are doing a lot of serverless. That's
Okay.
something that also we are trying to capitalize. And one of the things that I think is most unusual, maybe, okay, is that we are using a lot Cloudflare workers. Most
Okay.
people, when they think about Cloudflare, they think about
Yep.
being protected against a denial of service, distributed denial of service attack.
Yeah.
We started with Cloudflare, okay, as the way to protect our infrastructure from this kind of attacks. But
Mm-hmm.
in the last years, Cloudflare has evolved in a really rapid fashion, and right now we have a lot of things being developed directly on the edge with Cloudflare. For example, all the things that we are integrating related to artificial intelligence, that basically runs on edge workers on Cloudflare,
Okay.
the experience is extremely good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really interesting because that's not very usual. As you mentioned, yeah, most people will recognize Cloudflare as a DDoS protection technology, but the thing that you are using their workers as a serverless is really interesting.
And they
Why
are
did
adding
you
also
decide it? Yeah,
storage options. They are adding sorry, they are adding storage
yeah,
options. Okay, and
okay,
it's kind of they are kind of becoming an alternative in not in all the aspects. Okay, but they're kind of becoming a really interesting alternative to what is offered by AWS or Google Cloud. Okay, or Azure.
okay. That is interesting because it looks like there is a new kid on the block with the popular cloud providers, and it's really good. How would you compare workers in Cloudflare with the Amazon, for instance, their Lambdas or other similar technologies?
The key benefit or the key difference that we see there, okay, is that um, Cloudflare was built to be really to have a highly distributed infrastructure that's as close to the people that's serving, okay, as
Yeah,
possible. So the if you see a map, okay, if you see a map of AWS, okay, and how they
yeah,
have their data centers deploy and they are connected, and you look at how the way Cloudflare is doing their data centers and their connectivity, you're going to realize
yeah.
that those are two different strategies. And you know, Cloudflare was kind of cache first, very close to the edge. It's always about the edge and cache. Okay, they started like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the driving force that has been shaping their services and their offerings. Everything is on the edge, okay? And everything is
Okay.
extremely connected with the idea of heavily catching and having resources, both memory and processing, really close to your where your customers are.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I would like now to make a small pause and say a message to the audience. So if you have any questions, please post them into the YouTube comment section, and I'll select the most interesting ones in the end, and we'll discuss those questions with Anibal. So please feel free to ask any questions there. So back to the technology discussions, that's really interesting. So it looks like Cloudflare is betting on distributed services comparing to AWS. So, but you also mentioned during our previous discussion that you are also using AWS services and GCP and Azure, which is really interesting from the
Yeah,
architectural standpoint. Could you share more about that?
yeah, we have a great technical team, and in particular the people that runs the infrastructure on for the platform, they they are kind of obsessed with actually using the proper service for the proper task. And something that we realized really early was that well, we have to be able to tap into the different offerings and take decisions also related to how this is connected or distributed around Latin America. Okay, and for example, we use a lot Azure, Microsoft Azure, for our content delivery. We are really big at streaming and video on demand, and for us, okay, from the beginning, okay, Azure was a really interesting partner because they had really good coverage around Latin America, okay, different than other cloud providers, and you know, if we shift to a different part of the business, well, we are doing all these things with Google Analytics. That's extremely core to our operation. That's extremely core to our growth process. And we BigQuery is a natural use there. Okay, and we simplify.
Okay.
Lately, we have been using this database is called oh my god, I forgot the name. It doesn't matter. The services from people from Tinybear. Tinybear offers this capacity to absorb events at a extremely high rate. Okay, and immediately transform this in APIs that can be consumed by your product, and this has been working beautifully, okay, because this means that what usually had to have a lot of engineering, a lot of data engineering, okay, right now is just a few clicks away to have to start ingesting events, okay, and with a few clicks have an API. So we try to tap the proper resource to fix the problems that we have at hand.
Okay. No, that's really interesting. And it looks like you are choosing basically the best tool without any lock in on the Amazon or Google or Azure. So whenever there's a good alternative, you're using it, and doesn't matter on the platform. I really
And
like that.
I think
Yeah.
that's actually something that's unusual. Okay, most people when they start with one vendor, they kind of
Yeah.
they get locked into that. Okay, for
Yeah.
us has been different.
That is really interesting, and I guess it really follows your approach of this diversity culture. So it allows you basically to choose and not lock in on one vendor. That's really amazing. So two more questions from a technical standpoint. What databases or data storages are you using? Like, which are most popular or the ones that come to your mind? Because obviously you have a lot of data. Probably you use a lot of them, but what are the most heavily used? Platzi.
Our core databases are in AWS and they are
Okay.
in Python.
Okay.
Python, no, Postgres. And
Postgres. Okay.
yeah, and when I started at Platzi, they were using MySQL, okay, and
Okay.
MySQL is a totally fine database, okay, but we wanted to achieve some things that we couldn't do with MySQL at that moment, and we migrated. That was a really beautiful process because, you know, this is not a trivial thing, okay? Migrating
Yeah.
overnight from one database to another, but
Yeah.
the almost, I would say, religious use of the object relational mapper on Django
Yeah.
made it a breeze. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Okay.
The all the migrations, everything worked fine. Okay, and the abstraction from the database was so good. Okay, that we basically had no problem.
Yeah, that's really interesting story because I personally use object relational mappers, and I heard stories of other people, and usually there is a problem migrating to another database, but it's really good if you have this case of really easy migration. So that's really good. And regarding integrations, which third-party software do you integrate with for operations?
Integrations in what sense?
Like, I mean, you mentioned, like, for instance, Google Analytics is one of the key tools that you use. It's like a third-party software. What are
Okay,
other
got it.
platforms?
Well, I think that the most important integration for us, okay, is with payment gateways. That's
Okay,
I think
payment
that's
games. Yeah,
yeah, that's the most important integration process that we have ongoing like all the time. And we manage, okay, we manage to make to separate, okay, this layer of payments. And we started doing ourselves, okay, a kind of orchestration with different payment gateways. This proved to be um, too much work. Okay, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of complexity in that problem. And we moved to a payment orchestrator. Okay. And the so far it's working really good. Okay, and we now
hmm
have the ability to do some smart routing for our transactions
yeah,
to maximize the possibility that the transactions are properly processed and they don't fail.
okay,
And that's something that we learn, where we learn a lot, and I recommend a lot if you have a growing business, okay, and you
yeah,
want to maximize and you're working in maybe in parts of the world like Latin America. It is really good to have this orchestration level because it
yeah.
maximizes your transactions without, okay, the team doing a lot of boilerplate work to connect with the different gateways and taking all these kind of decisions that are very complex.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So basically, your advice is not to lock in on one payment provider, but basically abstract from it and have plan B, plan C,
In
plan
Latin
D.
America, it will be
Yeah,
extremely unusual that you can do that, okay? Because
yeah,
you have to have the possibility of charging your customers in the local
yeah.
currency. And the
Okay.
big
hmm
the big the big payment processors, okay, they just charge you in dollars, okay, and that's
Oh,
extremely
yeah,
complex in the region.
yeah. hmm hmm Okay, interesting. Great. Thanks for that. So we discussed more technical side of the software development. Now let's proceed to the software development teams. Could you share what is the total engineering team size at Platzi?
We are around 100 people, okay.
Okay.
And you know, at some moment we started growing a lot, okay, and we had to pause. We had
Yeah.
to hold it a bit because we realized that we weren't prepared to grow the team size at the pace that we're hiring. And
Yeah.
you know, and I knew this in my head. I had all the theory. I had all the theory.
Yeah.
But one thing is having the theory in your head, and other thing is trying to hold, okay, this demand for we need more people, we need to achieve more things, we need to deploy more software, we need to make more features, we need to resolve more problems with technology.
Totally.
And but we had to put a hold for some time, and now we are extremely careful when it comes to hiring. And we really embrace these things, this maxima of hiring really slow and firing really fast. um, and it actually works. I think
Okay.
that's kind of one big learning, okay. The other thing that happened, okay, with when the team started growing, is that we experimented with different ways to organize the team, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, the Spotify model that Spotify no longer uses, and it like they never use. And well, we try a little bit ideas, okay, from the Spotify
hmm
model. I would say that the biggest problem for a startup, such a model, is that it it makes very difficult, okay, to alienate
Yeah.
to the team efforts in a single direction. It makes it really, really difficult. And we have a kind of more centralized structure at this point.
Okay, makes sense. So you shifted from more decentralized to centralized software development team model, right? That'd be correct to say?
That would be a good description.
Okay, so you have about 100 people at Platzi, and
no, just in my team. Platzi is about it's around 300 people.
Okay, 200. So you have 100 people in your team. Okay, that's a lot. How do you split 100 people into the teams?
That's something that we do in an extremely organic fashion. Okay, we have been working really hard. This is not easy. Okay, and we are not there fully there yet. But the thing is that we have been pushing. Okay, we have been nurturing the idea that teams are ephemeral. Okay, and we need to be able to accept people, okay, shifting around and coming and going, because we are trying always to understand who's the people that has the more experience with certain parts of the platform, and connect them with specific problems. Why?
Okay.
We have something like 1 million and something code lines in our repositories. Okay. That's a lot of code. That's a lot of code, and that's a lot of legacy. And it's not a cute code base. It's not nice there. And we are a startup. We can't have you can't really have a code that you are extremely proud of in a startup. And there's a lot of knowledge, okay, that still is not in a document and still is not documented in the code, that it still resides in the head of a lot of people. And we are in this process of being better at documentation, but the reality is that the platform is extremely complex. There are some aspects that require extra care, and that's why we need this ability of the people to switch around, okay? And we are trying to reach this point where we can reteam our teams in a regular fashion.
Okay, that's an interesting concept of like team forming. So basically, the goal is to find people that are mostly experienced in some parts of the platform when there is a problem, and reteam them to tackle that problem. And then once it is tackled, they are reteamed into another teams focusing around another problem. Is that correct?
Yes. But this is easier said than done, because there's the other thing, okay? Because we are human. We are all human, okay? And we have these bounds with the team, and we understand how our teammates work, okay? So this is a challenge.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that, because in traditional like agile development, the team is formed and then it's working for a long time,
and you don't mess with the team which is already working well.
Yeah, something like that. And usually they are assigned to like some product or part of the product. And with this concept, I guess there's a lot of complexity, but it's really interesting. How do you manage that? Okay, so basically, you also mentioned that you're particularly focused on hiring. So, for instance, I'm an engineer in Colombia, and I would like really to join a Platzi. How do you select candidates?
Okay, we have a process which is not really long or complex. We have a process where we have a first interview, first screening. We have right now. I think we are really good at writing job posts, okay, and specifying what we are looking in the people. And after this first interview, okay, people has a second technical interview. This interview may include some exercises. It is not whiteboarding. This is not doing the whiteboard and and interviewers throwing stuff at you. Okay, this is more like working together. Let's work together to fix something. Okay, it's more like peer programming.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's really interesting approach.
The thing is that this is the point. This is my point. The hiring process is the first connection, okay, that the company has with the people that they are hiring. And you know, I read about these hiring processes that look like you are guilty and you have to demonstrate that you are not guilty by doing these algorithms from your top of your head. And I don't believe in that. Okay. And we want to build a long-term relationship with the people that we hire. And well, how should we start our relationship together? And we try. I will say that at the core of our process, that has a couple technical steps, an exercise that we try to keep at small. We don't want to abuse the time of the people that doing the exercise at home. And the last interview is what we call a cultural fit interview, and that's on me. But I will say that at the core of our process, what we try to do is to check that we can have great conversations with the people that we are hiring, that we have good communication, great conversation. And something that we are very intentional is on providing feedback and checking how people receive the feedback. Okay, and that's the most single important criteria that we have. If we found that a person is bouncing feedback or they're close to it, okay, that's immediately a no-go, and we stop the process immediately. I have stopped process, okay, in the first 10 minutes of the first interview. Okay, that's because that's the way it should be. We should not be wasting people's time, okay, neither ours. And and usually this process should take tops 3 weeks. Okay, sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes, but it should be tops 3 weeks.
Okay, interesting. It's really interesting that you're using like this collaboration and basically checking how person collaboratively tackles the task with your engineers, rather than just viewing a engineer as a separate person who needs to be like a ninja and writing very complex algorithms right out of the head. That's really interesting, because I guess 90% of the work of an engineer is collaborative problem solving.
Totally. There's no such thing. You just said there's no such thing as software development alone. But there's the idea of the lone hacker or so that just doesn't happen anymore. It's too complex. If you bring someone, okay, it doesn't matter if it's absolutely great at data structures or sorting algorithms, okay? That doesn't matter if this person is not capable of establishing a relationship with their teammates, giving and accepting feedback, and being humble and asking for help. You know, that, and I will say that that's one of the clearest signs of maturity of a developer, a software developer. Being able to just say, I don't know, and I'm asking for help. Okay, that's a green flag for us.
Definitely, I totally feel what you're saying, and I really agree with that, and it's really good approach to hiring guests. So, thanks for that. We're coming to the part where we will read the questions and answers, like questions. We will provide an answers. But like the final question that I would like to ask is, could you tell about some complex situation that your team faced, and how did you tackle it?
Whew. There's so many.
Yeah, pick anyone.
Pick anyone. Okay, this is not a current situation, but I like it a lot. This is not from this team.
Yeah,
I was doing consultancy for a extremely large airline, okay,
Okay.
in Australia. And
Okay.
we were working with this team, and they had a platform that was supposed to do something. Of course, the
Yeah.
platform, it was from a really big vendor, and it
Yeah.
didn't actually work, okay, the way it was intended. And they asked me, Anil, we need you, okay, we need you. Can you build this thing? Okay, it's just gonna be a proof of concept. This won't go to production, okay, this won't go to production. And but we need to understand if this is the proper concept, and we need to try it, okay.
Yeah.
And the deadline was like something like 2 weeks, okay. It was really, so we really short, okay. And it was a complex problem. It wasn't trivial, and it involved some kind of very particular technology, okay. We're talking here about distributed in-memory databases, okay, that were
Okay. Yeah.
SQL compliant and something. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, let me discuss it, okay. And I discussed it with the team, and I told the team this thing. Look, guys, okay, these people having this problem, they are not going to make it with the tools they have, okay, and they want us to build this thing, okay, extremely complex. What can we do with this? Okay, is this going to be doable? What should we take off, okay, to make it this actually something that we can actually build, something realistic? And I also told the team, and I want you to have this framing in your head while we discuss this problem. And I told them, this is going to go into production. This is going to go into production, okay? So whatever we build, it has to be production ready, production proof, okay? And I just told you, okay, that the customer promised me that that wasn't going into production. But I knew because I'm old, okay? Because I have a lot of white hair. And so we took the right decisions, okay. We had to fix a little bit the scope, okay, to be sure that we could build something that could withstand production environment with a extremely high traffic. And when we finished the thing, okay, something like 2 days after we finished, and they checked it, it was into production, okay. And the customer said, Anil, I'm sorry, but I had to lie to you, okay. I knew that we were never going to make it by ourselves, okay. And your POC was going to be the production thing. And I told him, I knew, okay. And we built a production ready thing.
Okay. That's really interesting. I mean, so basically you heightened the expectations right away, and that really helped building it, right?
And software finds their way into production. Software finds their way to stay in production for extremely long times, okay. And if you start operating in your mind with that mindset, okay, it helps a lot. Software is going to find their way, okay. It doesn't matter how you try to avoid it, okay. Software is going to find their way into production, and it's going to stay in production for a long time. So if you have been doing software for 10 years or something like that, and you still believe that this is not going to be in production for a long time, okay, I'm sorry, okay, it's going to stay in production for a longer time than you expect.
I really like this advice. So design for a long term, for a software that will stay in production for a long term. No, that's really good, because I've seen a lot of things like POCs or other applications which weren't meant to be in production, but now you see it and it's like 10 years in production, and so that really repeats what you were saying.
It's okay. All the software in the world is broken, and most of the software in the I really hope that the software in a Peacemaker, okay, is not broken. And there's a different kind of software, and there's a different kind of rules, and there's different kind of tools. But more internet is fundamentally built to be broken, okay? And we live in this world where everything's a little bit broken, and it actually works.
Yeah. No, that's reality. I really like that you're telling this. So yeah, that's an interesting thought. Okay, so let me now read the comment section. We have questions there. So, as technology evolves, what do you believe are the most important skills for engineering leaders to cultivate in the coming years?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Okay,
It's
why?
and this is for anyone, okay, working in this field. You have to be curious. You have to be curious at every single level, okay? When you see that when you someone is behaving in a way that you don't understand, be curious, okay? Hold judgments. Hold judgments are for free. Judgments are cheap, okay? But if you don't understand why someone is saying something, why someone is doing something, ask. Be curious, okay? Assume that the person is trying to do the best that they can with what they have. And if and when it comes to technology, okay, right now there's so much changes mostly related to AI, but this is not the only thing that's happening. And this is a change for real. This is a tipping point of a new era. Okay, I truly believe this. I remember the times before internet. I remember the times before mobile phones. I remember the times before mobile phones had internet access. And
Yeah.
we are facing another tipping point in human culture. And you have to be extremely curious right now. You need to have this implacable curiosity and stop judging before you learn.
Okay. No, that's a really good advice. Thanks for that. Hey, I see the question from John Restrepo, your friend. So basically, the question is for engineering teams when it comes to hiring, what have you identified as the perks engineers find more attractive in Platzi?
MacBooks Pro with M1 M something processors. they,
Okay.
that's you know I have this is too much a machine for me. Okay, this is I have a MacBook Pro with an M1 something processor. Okay,
Yep.
but the thing is that, dude, I'm the vice president. Okay, I don't code, I don't run any environment, I don't run Docker, nothing. Okay, but I have so much JavaScript running on my machine at any single time. Okay,
Yeah.
and this was a game changer for me. Okay, I stopped waiting for software. Okay, and my flow, okay, as a manager is a way better. Okay, because of
Mhm.
a highly optimized chip and software. And and the reality is that when if you want this environment to go as smooth as possibly, and there's never going to be enough as a perk, okay, when it comes to the hardware you're running your tools on.
Okay, that's really interesting to hear because I'm a more old school guy, so I'm running a Dell with the Ubuntu, but I see
I used to
maybe
be
one
there.
or
I used
two
to be
years.
there,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
feel you in my heart, Yuri. I
yeah,
feel you in my
yeah,
heart.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I guess 1 year, maybe 2 years, and I'll switch. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so another question is, what advice do you have for aspiring engineering leaders looking to make a positive impact in their organizations?
Again,
What advice do you have for aspiring engineering leaders that would like to make a positive impact in the organizations they are working for?
be sure to understand how leadership is different from management. When people has this idea, okay, a lot of people is not aware that leadership is a different thing from management. Management
Yeah,
is a function of the organization. When a company names you manager, they are giving you a responsibility over a team, okay, to achieve some goal. And
yeah.
but you're responsible also for a team, and you have to develop these people and help these people, so these people that work with you, they can achieve the goal that you're supposed to be responsible of. And but leadership means that you inspire people, that you provide a vision, that you actually make people move in a direction. to make things happen. Ideally, any manager should be a leader, okay? That's not always, sadly, that's not always the case. And
Yeah.
and and there's people that they want to grow, they have to have a positive impact, and sometimes they miss themselves being managers because it's the only way that the organization allows them to express this necessity. Okay, so I would recommend to anyone, okay, looking for these paths, be clear. Okay, do you want to lead, okay, or do you want to be responsible for a team of people that has to achieve a goal, and also responsible for the development of these people?
Okay. Thanks a lot for that. That's really great advice, and I also go around this discussions and like leader versus manager a lot. So I really feel what you were saying. Okay, then. So thanks a lot for your time, Anibal. We're about time, and this was a really magnificent discussion. I really enjoyed talking with you. You shared a lot of very interesting, I would say, non-standard topics in the software industry. I wish you good luck, and I hope we'll cross our road some way in the future again. So thanks a lot to you.
All the same, it was really nice working with you to make this hour here. Okay,
Yeah.
I really enjoy our conversations, the preparation, and thanks a lot. It has been really interesting. I really hope, okay, that at some time, okay, we can sit in front of a coffee or for a beer. Okay, and thanks a lot to all the people watching us.
Yeah, thanks to the audience. Thanks again, Anibal, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye.